this process has gone on for so long that it's easy to forget sort of why CodeNEXT is here in the first place. And that's because we have a shortage of housing, and we have the affordability crisis that goes with it.
We now find ourselves in a situation where new and old residents alike are competing over a stock of housing that has been intentionally limited.
There's no good reason not to allow townhouses, row homes, fourplexes, and apartment buildings in all parts of the urban core. I don't want this guy or his older sister to grow up in an Austin that excludes people from living here just because they can't afford a large lot single-family home.
Austin isn't a small town anymore, and we need to stop letting our land development code pretend like it is.
The current code is 30 years old. Definitely we need update.
Our current code has turned housing into which is a basic human necessity, into a rare, precious resource, particularly in desirable central Austin neighborhoods with powerful homeowners associations, which have pushed development to East Austin and the periphery, which has exacerbated gentrification.
We don't have a policy mechanism to keep rich people from moving here, but we do have a way to add enough homes for everyone who wants to live here so that our wealthiest community members don't outbid everyone else.
I would love to see a simplified land development code that legalizes more affordable housing types in all of Austin.
Things like townhomes, things like duplexes, fourplexes, because those provide an entryway for people to move into my neighborhood.
Fourplexes and row homes should be legal everywhere.
I've heard a lot of people say that density doesn't mean affordability, but there are 80 people living in my apartment complex, and none of them could afford to live there if it were zoned single family.
You cannot advocate for affordable housing, but wish for Hyde Park and West Austin to remain as they are.
Our core neighborhoods of Hyde Park, Bowling Creek, East Austin, and West Austin house 67,000 people, or about 3.3% of Greater Austin's 2 million residents.
The assumption seems to be that if we don't change zoning, if the majority of the lots in Bolden are kept at 2 units per lot maximum, that the neighborhood won't change. But of course it's changing. The working class is being forced out to the suburbs. Single-family zoning is not protecting affordability.
I've heard other people say that we should just do what they did and move to where it's affordable and make that place better. But that may have been an option 20 years ago when moving to where it was affordable was less than 10 miles away from downtown. Now that requires us to leave the city altogether, which increases the sprawl and increases the traffic that the city is currently facing.
Sprawl is unsustainable, yes. But on a more fundamental level, it is deeply illogical. Why would we build a city so that a large proportion of its citizens live far away from the workspaces that they will visit 2/3 of the year? Would it make more sense to have them live in close proximity with their workspaces and have them commute on public transportation vehicles, cycles, or, if they so dare, on scooters?
Anyone that's part of a neighborhood, whether teaching in the schools or working behind a cash register, deserves to live here, and it's our responsibility to make that possible.
To have an inclusive Austin for everyone, where you and I can stay in the city we love and afford to live here, we must attack these problems by eradicating exclusionary zoning tactics, such as compatibility standards, setbacks, and minimum lot sizes that make it illegal to build condos and apartments.
I support CodeNEXT, but I think the F-25 is kind of a, so like, what's the point? We want to move forward, but you put F-25 on my property.
Density on the corridor seems to be a pretty consensus issue that in order to be compact and connected, like Imagine Austin says we need to be, we have to have density on the corridors. The current and the proposed compatibility rules, they really undermine this density on the corridors.
I mean, who here is pro-demolitions? I didn't think so. To escape this continuing cycle in a growing city, R2 has no business being within a quarter mile of a corridor.
We need to have about 17 jobs and people per acre along the corridors to support the frequent, effective, and efficient transit that our city needs, and particularly what we want.
And I can't come in here and not talk about parking. R4 shouldn't have any parking requirements. If we say we care about the environment and affordability, we shouldn't mandate that every lot have its own personal road and personal pavement. And needless to say, this pavement is to house a luxury item. This pavement replaces trees. I mean, who here is anti-trees? I didn't think so.
When you look at it, parking lots, they don't employ any people. They increase a lot of impervious cover, and they encourage drunk driving if you're at a bar. So if we're going to put something in the code that is going to hurt employment, is going to increase our risk of flooding, and is going to encourage drunk driving, I think we deserve a better answer than we're just copying what Dallas does.
We can debate the content of the CodeNEXT, but I think we definitely need new codes.
As the head of a homeless nonprofit once said to you a year or more ago, the answer to homelessness is more housing. And it turns out that's the answer to everyone who wants a house.
More neighborhood housing for more families, compatible in form and scale with our existing structures is not only possible, but is critical to allowing more people to live closer to their jobs and schools and towards realizing our Imagine Austin vision.
And you can grow in a way that is welcoming to everyone, regardless if they were born here, if they moved from Dallas, or if they moved here from El Salvador or anywhere else.
So anyway, I guess I'm a neighbor who wants more neighbors, and I'm begging you to please upzone me.